Here are my top 10 things I wish I knew before moving here to the Philippines. Let's get going. So you're thinking about moving to the Philippines, huh? Enjoying the sun, the sea, and everything else that Philippines has to offer you. But what if I told you there's so much more you need to know before making that jump? Stay with me as I show you 10 things that I wish I knew before moving here to the Philippines. And if you stay till the end of the video, I promise you it'll give you a lot of value. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this video. You have nothing to lose. I appreciate it. Hey everyone, if you are new to the channel, my name is Gil. If you are returning, I really appreciate it. Just a little bit of information about me. I am a business consultant and an executive here for the BPO companies in here specifically in Cebu, Philippines. I also have other small businesses and things like that. So if you ever want some coaching, even for your companies, for leadership and things like that, my link is down below. So number one, the real cost of living here in the Philippines. So I would have to say, yes, it is cheaper here in the Philippines to live here in the Philippines, but cheaper has to correlate with your lifestyle. What is affordable to you? If you're coming from America or whatever country you're coming from, where you're making 20,000 a month or 10,000 a month, and you're spending 10,000, I don't know. But here in the Philippines, it's like pretty wide spectrum, right? So you can live off $1,500, I think comfortably $1,500, or I know people that live off $5,000 here in the Philippines. So that particular comment is really subjective to how you live your life. Now, what caught me off guard here in the Philippines are the hidden costs, like the imported goods, private health care, the very expensive internet for what they offer you, and for the utility and electricity bill here. It's nuts over here. I have a question for you. Would you downgrade your lifestyle to save money? Comment down below. So number 2, Filipino time is very real here. Just throw out punctuality out the window for the most part. I'll be honest with you. Like appointments, deadlines, just get-togethers. Let's just say everything is slowed down over here. So understand that Filipino time is a cultural thing, so you might need to get used to it, because if you don't, you can have a hard time. But my takeaway from that is it has shown me and taught me to slow things down a bit and have more, not so much of a structured, setting when I have the, interactions. It's more like, let it go where it's going to go at the end of the day when I'm hanging out and things like that. But on the flip side of that, let's talk about when time actually costs you money. Let's talk about government paperwork here. Paperwork is a nightmare here for me in the Philippines. This is not a problem for me, but for many expats, visas, and for me, business permits. And like taxes and all those sort of like filing all those things. It's a maze of government agencies. Imagine like a Pac-Man just chasing things that just don't make any sense sometimes. My advice, hire someone that can process for you, or hire a professional lawyer or somebody like a runner to do the things for you, because it's gonna save you so much headaches and preserve your sanity here. I got a question for you. If you ever dealt with Filipino bureaucracy, or how the government is, comment down below, because I want to see if we're on the same page, honestly. Number 4, the importance of building trust here in the Philippines. So trust is everything here in the Philippines, right? Now, it could be on the expat side and the Filipino side. So when it ever comes to even business, and ultimately for you guys who are dating, picking a decent partner or a good partner, and even having friendships and things like that, Filipinos value relationships over contracts, to be honest with you. Invest time in the people here, and I don't mean just money. Invest time in the people here, and it's worth it, because from personal experience, I have had help from many Filipinos when I wasn't in need. And hospitality is a really great thing here, to be honest with you. When you have that cohesion, you have that trust and that relationship with many people here. So my personal insight, I like a handshake means so much more than a signed deal, to be honest with you. Number 5, language isn't always a barrier. Understandably, English is widely spoken here, especially in Cebu and in, Dumaguete as well. In general, English is widely spoken here. But learning the dialect, or learning the place that learning words, phrases, and where you are really goes a long way, to be honest with you. It's helped me tremendously in my years here in the Philippines, because it gives you that medium. It gives you that bridge of connection, so people can hopefully not view you as the Kano or the Joe or the foreigner guy there, because differentiation of you getting priced for skin tax and things like that, or just your accent, it's for me, it's been crazy because the moment that they know I speak the dialect, you can kind of like, you're not paying full price at the end of the day. Knowing a few phrases, knowing of the lingo, knowing how to interact with people has saved me probably a lot of money, a lot of headaches, more importantly. If you really want to get that deeper connection with people here, more over the country, and if you want to feel at home, start learning the basics. ¿Cómo está? That means how are you? That's not difficult. Number 6, safety concerns in the Philippines. So I'm from New York, so some parts of New York are rough anyway. A lot of people here, they're always like, you gotta watch out for this, gotta watch out for that. Yeah, my insight when it comes to safety here in the Philippines, it's safe. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because if you have to be really cognizant of where you're at. You just have to be cognizant of where you're at, your surroundings, because even in America, there's certain places Comment below if you come from that. There's a nice area, and then there's a dodgy, weird area. Don't take that out of your mind when you move here, because you're definitely going to have to be aware of those situations. Like I said, I grew up in New York. I grew up in the ghettos too, so to a great degree, I'm like, energy is energy at the end of the day, right? It doesn't really matter if they're black, white, Spanish, or whatever. Energy is energy. You know the vibe. I hope you know the vibe. When you go into certain areas, you're gonna kind of have to be really cognizant. Look around, look at people's gestures, how they're looking at you. When you go into an area, people are very open, they're very hospitable. You feel, if you're cognizant, if you're aware with yourself, and practice some self-awareness here, be aware when you go to these places. Obviously, when you go to BGC, you go to IT Park, you go to a place like Dumaguete, those are all nice places. If some places in Davao, most places in Davao, but there's some places that I just don't frequent, because there's some family things I gotta deal with, because why I can't go certain areas, and just being a human being, kind of like growing up in a really weird area, I've always been tuned to, that's not the type of area I would want to hang out in because of X. You know what I'm saying? Comment down below, what are the safety concerns that you have from moving to a country like this? I would love to see the comments below to kind of have some debate as to whether the country is safe or not safe. Number 7, the healthcare realities here in the Philippines. So here, healthcare quality varies. But if you were to go to America, obviously I'm only citing America because I never lived in Europe. There are certain places that New York City, California, the big cities, like Texas, they're gonna have really nice, equipment, really nice services. But if you go to some certain towns that have the funding, or don't have the population, or don't have the traffic, you're gonna find that they're not gonna have the best of the best healthcare situations in America. Here in the Philippines, it's almost the same. It's just you got to dish out money. They don't have the same structure for insurance and things like that here in the Philippines. You're gonna have to dish out money. If you live in the bigger cities, generally speaking, they're gonna have the better equipment, the better doctors, unfortunately. But if you go to rural areas, good luck. You're not gonna have that as much. But that goes without saying. Like if you lived in a farm in America, yeah, you might be hours away from the most legitimate high class, hospitals. I would feel like. Comment down below if you think I'm wrong. Me living here in the Philippines, you just don't get the same amount of access, if I can say that. As in just go in, pop in, get everything, get billed later. No, here you're dishing out money. This is for me, that's one of the biggest differences here in the Philippines and in America. So I would suggest private insurance is a must. Don't skimp on it. It's a must. Number 8, adjusting to the local cuisine. Now, if you're in the Midwest, or you're in a place where you're commonly just having the same basic things, it might surprise you here on what they eat. If you are not on social media, you don't check Facebook, you're going to be surprised here sometimes when you come here, when the things they eat here. But if you're in the areas where it's big cities and people are trying, it's like a smorgasbord of diversity when it comes to food and things like that, I don't think you'd be that surprised. Especially if you're around Southeast Asian countries, you're gonna see things that you're not used to eating, or you're gonna see things that are kind of off in your home country, but kind of oh, there's common here. Like I said, balut, lechon, halo. You're gonna experience things that oh, this is different. A lot of it tastes good though, I'll be honest with you. But nonetheless, Filipino food is iconic. It's a good mixture of a lot of things. Like, you have, you obviously your Spanish influence, you have your American influence, you have your Chinese influence. And if you go deeper in there, there's probably other influences there. You have your Malay, you just have different things there. But be careful when you come here, your stomach might not adjust to it in time. Because I'll give you a short story. When I first came to the Philippines, like when I went to college here, I decided to eat the street food. That was a mistake. And drink the local water. That was another mistake. And I was sick for a week. I don't know what I had. Wife, my then girlfriend, she took care of me for like a week. I was in the hospital for a week. I'm not going to say the food was dirty, but you have to still be careful with the quality of where you eat. But some doctor explained to me that your gut biome in your stomach, as in if you're coming from you're a different country, you're accustomed to certain bacteria in there, but going to a different country, they have different bacteria, and that's what happened to me, from what the doctor said. But that was an experience I don't want to have anymore. So my personal policy: I don't drink local water. I drink bottled water if I have to drink water, and I'm really picky with the places I eat. You're not really gonna catch me at a food vendor like on the street, and I'm really picky on like how they prepare my food. I mean, my wife and I used to own restaurants, so to a great degree, I try my best to be, not too judgmental, but at the same time, I try my best to be like, as careful as I can be. Not saying that every place is dirty here. I'm looking at people, how they clean themselves, how they prepare, touch. But then again, I'm a bit like weird about certain things when it comes to that. Nonetheless, Filipino food is amazing. Just take it easy on it, get used to it. I love Filipino food, to be honest with you. Comment down below, what is the best Filipino food that you've ever tasted? I would love to hear your opinion. Number 9, the culture shocks that you won't expect. So there are cultural nuances here that I'm used to because I'm Filipino, but I guess as an expat, you're kind of weirded out by it. Maybe it's just, you're taking it back maybe. Respecting your elders all the way to karaoke nights here. Or just how people, greet themselves, talk to each other. It's sometimes it's a bit more open here. People are just a bit more open and speaking when they're interacting here. I'll give you a great example. People will readily say, I gotta go take a dump. Like people that's straight up strangers. In America, for me growing up in America, you just don't tell someone, yeah man, listen man, nice to meet you, I gotta go take a dump. It's just not something you say, but sometimes in certain, because culturally it's just open like that. Like, yeah, oh man, I had diarrhea. It's something I had to get used to. Like, you just met this person like 5 minutes ago and you're open. I don't know, man. That's just something I notice sometimes. Or here, everybody makes friends super quickly. Sometimes Filipinos, they don't have a volume down or indoor voice sometimes. When they start getting in groups, it's a freaking party at the end of the day. So for me, I had to get used to that, to be honest with you. And I'm still kind of getting used to that. As well as like driving by, you got blaring music with somebody's, it sounds like their freaking mouth is right on the freaking microphone, where it's like there's no words coming out. It sounds like death metal at this point. So going down to so many streets, you hear that everywhere, or the person doesn't have a great voice. And Filipinos are known to have good voices, but when the person doesn't have a great voice, and you're just like, why are you even singing? But sometimes it's a daily life, to be honest with you. But I mean, the way I take it is these quirks make Philippines unique in my eyes. Everybody's down to party. Everyone wants a good time, to be honest with you here. Honestly speaking, if you give it a chance for you to embrace that lifestyle or portions of the lifestyle, you're gonna thrive here. You're gonna just kind of keep your guards down a little bit and relax. And then actually, I realized that living in the Philippines, I've gotten to the point where I don't take things too seriously anymore. I learned the hard way, especially in fiestas. You never say no to an invitation here, or you try your best not to, because fiesta time, everyone's pulling you left and right, to be honest with you. Comment down below if you have those experiences. Number 10, last but not least, the expat community here. For many people, it's their lifeline, because it gives you an opportunity to interact with someone that you're familiar with, and it gives you an opportunity to get to know people that are or have been here with the experiences that you want. So, obviously, me being a Filipino-American, I don't really hang out in those expat situations. I do have expat friends, obviously, but I don't really hang out in those bars and things like that. I'm just too busy at the end of the day. And I don't drink. I don't drink like that. So, you know, I might drink once or twice a year. So I'm not out there, and I'm not retired either. So a lot of the guys out there, they're in the bars and the, you know, the groups, most of them are retired, older people, but it's still great to talk to them, especially ones who've been living here for 20 years, X amount of years. You can pull a lot of knowledge from there, to be honest with you. Take that with a grain of salt, because some expat groups are a bit toxic. For me, I'm probably going to piss somebody off. I don't like expats who just target young girls. This is not my thing, to be honest with you. Like, there's some expat groups out there, they're probably older men, and they're horny men. That's what I mean. To be honest, they're just old horny men. They just want to get the best in before they go. And I totally understand it, but I don't really hang out with that. I talk to the guys who are more, they're business minded already, because usually, you know, people that have way more business experience or acumen than me, I can, you know, be like a mentorship program there for me, and just have a better understanding of where I want to take my life, and they're steps ahead of me. So that's the type of expert I hang out with. Wherever you fit in, they can definitely be your support. You can get some advice on them, and so for someone like me, mentorship, and obviously friendships. So if you haven't, join the Facebook groups. Try to line up with people with the same mindset as you, hopefully, and I think you should be fine. But more importantly, understand that your tribe is out there. You just have to find them. So there you have it. Those are my 10 things that I wish I knew before moving to the Philippines. People like me, you can use me in that sense, as in use this video as a resource to understand, or really kind of like see it from one person's point of view, my point of view, as the things that you have to kind of understand before moving here to the Philippines. So if you found value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it, more importantly, to people that you think it might help as well. If you have any questions, drop it down below. I'll be more than happy to comment or read those comments. I'm more excited about that. And more importantly, if I can help you in any way, whether it be setting up your business, if you have a company here already where you want to line up your leadership and kind of have that person like myself who is Filipino and who is American, I have a better understanding of how things can work here and how it can synergistically build some cohesion amongst your teams or your company. But if you got questions, comment down below. I read every single comment anyway. My email's right here if you want that as well. My Calendly is down below as well. So remember, before I leave, moving to the Philippines is just not a move. It's a lifestyle change. So be prepared as much as you can, because I have seen so many cases of people coming here and just jumping back to where they come from because of the stresses, or they're just not used to it, or all the nuances that happen here. They're just overwhelmed. So make the right moves and you'll love every second. Take care. God bless. Bye.